Anybody who thinks that they can influence what I will do doesn't know me very well. And they can actually look and see what I have said and done throughout my career. Take one.
Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead. And she said that anybody who knows her knows that she's not easily influenced.
Mrs. Clinton stood up. She said, let's get our picture taken, which we did. And she said, Professor Warren, we've got to stop that awful bill, referring to this bankruptcy bill that's sponsored by the credit card companies. So I left. She went back to Washington, and I heard later from someone who was a White House staffer that there were skid marks in the hallways when Mrs. Clinton got back as people reversed direction on that bankruptcy bill.
They were supporting the industry, and because of her...
President Clinton had been showing that this was another way that he could be helpful to business. It wasn't a very high visibility bill. And when Mrs. Clinton came back with a little better understanding of how it all worked, they reversed course, and they reversed course fast. And indeed, the proof is in the pudding. The last bill that came before President Clinton was that bankruptcy bill that was passed by the House and the Senate in 2000, and he vetoed it. And in her autobiography, Mrs. Clinton took credit for that veto, and she rightly should. She turned around a whole administration on the subject of bankruptcy. She got it.
So there was Hillary Clinton when there was a bankruptcy bill that was favorable to the corporate moneyed interests that hurt the working man. She got educated about it by Elizabeth Warren. She then went back to Washington and got Bill Clinton to veto that bill. That happened. And then what happened? Let's see what happened. Does money influence Hillary Clinton?
Then?
One of the first bills that came up after she was Senator Clinton was the bankruptcy bill. This is a bill that's like a vampire. It will not die, right? There's a lot of money behind it. And
bill her husband had vetoed.
Her husband had vetoed it very much at her urging.
And?
She voted in favor of it.
Why?
As Senator Clinton, the pressures are very different. It's a well-financed industry. A lot of people don't realize that the industry that gave the most money to Washington over the past few years was not the oil industry, was not pharmaceuticals. It was consumer credit products. Those are the people, the credit card companies have been giving money, and they have influence.
And Mrs. Clinton was one of them, a senator.
She has taken money from the groups, and more to the point, she worries about them as a constituency.
So what does this mean, though, to these people, these millions of people out there whom the politicians cavort in front of as favoring the middle class, and then are beholden to the powerful interests that undermine the middle class? What does it say about politics today?
This is the scary part about democracy today. We're talking again about the impact of money. The credit industry on this bankruptcy bill has spent tens of millions of dollars lobbying, and as their profits grow, they just throw more into lobbying for how they can get laws that will make it easier and easier and easier to drain money out of the pockets of middle-class families.
Okay, so there you go. Hillary Clinton, she says she's not affected by money. She says there you go. She's affected by money completely, 100%. And there it is from Elizabeth Warren. It's not my words. It's Elizabeth Warren. And so people who say we have to grow up, we don't really know what's happening. They said the same thing to the Occupy Wall Street people. We know exactly what's happening, and that's why we want a revolution from Bernie Sanders.